Be careful who you donate money to. I'm going to read you an article that I found on the taxlawprof.com website. And this just actually infuriates me. And frankly, I find this to be the case for a lot of things that revolve around separating from you and your money. Investment management. Here we got an example of a charitable donation a guy made. And let's just dive right into it, because just be careful when you're setting up any kind of big legacy. And big can be anything. Charitable gift annuity for $50,000 to a $50 million bequest at your death. To set up a charitable remaining trust, a charitable remaining unit trust, a charitable remaining annuity trust, all these different concepts of when you're going to donate money, planned giving or just annual gifting. Just be careful who receives your funds. It's incredibly important. So, as always, welcome to Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, my friends, the place you come to learn about charitable giving and everything else that revolves around the tax code, financial planning, retirement. So don't forget to subscribe. All right, let's dive right into it. This boggles my mind, actually. So anyway, tax law prof, this guy right here, I think he's Pepperdine. Yeah, so he's a dean of the law school at Pepperdine. Tough job. Tough job. Someone's got to live it. Man, out there, I've never been to Malibu, but man, from what I understand, it's just fantastic. Now, I will never live in California ever, but if I had a gig as a tax law prof does here, being the dean of Pepperdine, I'd probably be able to overcome my my desire to stay clear from California. So let's open this up a little bit. All right. Undisclosed 1% annual development fee charged against naming gift to law school as endowment has shrunk from $30 million to $22 million in 17 years. All right, so let's talk about this. I mean, this may or may not be boring to you, but it's interesting to me, and I'm going to share it with you. A young Michael Moritz had promised and aspirations, but little money to realize them. When Ohio State University surprised him with a full ride scholarship to law school in 1958, it transformed his life. Over the decades, he became a partner in a major law firm, blah, blah, blah. As he built clients of respect, he also built a fortune. In retirement and out of gratitude, he gave back big time to his alma mater. In 2001, he donated $30.3 million to Ohio State to endow 4 faculty chairs and give 30 annual scholarships to needy law students. That's what he got. That's what he wanted to do. So remember, 30 annual scholarships. In recognition of the largest ever gift to one of his academic units, Ohio State named his law college in honor of him. Tragically, 8 months later, he was killed by a hit-and-run driver in Naples, Florida, with his endowment surviving as what his family believed was eternal testament to his name and generosity. However, his widow and son have now battled Ohio State for more than 2 years. Why? They contend the university is diminishing the Morris legacy by illegally draining millions of dollars in development fees. They threaten the survival in terms of his perpetual donation. So I'm thinking development. What, are they building businesses or building business he did not know about? Developing, right? No, it's worse than that. They also wonder whether other donors to the many of the 5,500 endowment funds totaling about $4 billion held by Ohio State are aware of the $16.3 million in cumulative annual fees their gifts are charged to pay the salaries of university fundraising employees and the cost of pursuing and entertaining would-be donors. And that's when I realized, ooh. Okay, what happened there? That was weird. Okay, so I'll have to cut that out. Ooh. Let's see here. All right, so that's when I realized that the development wasn't for development like building stuff, is actually for raising funds, development officers and things of that nature. So they got 5,500 endowment funds. I don't know if that's specifically if each person had given a certain amount of money. I don't know what that is. But that cost them $16.3 million in cumulative annual fees. So cumulative annual is a little bit different. Is that cumulative like from 2001 to 2018? No, it's annual. That's what it looks like to me. So you got $4 billion in assets, of which they're paying out $16.3 million in fees to pay the salaries of fundraising employees and the cost of pursuing and entertaining would-be donors. University officials say the withdrawal of development fees is legal, but the Morris family disagrees. We want the money to go to scholarships, to do great things at the university, not to be spent flying around the country talking to wealthy donors and hosting social events to court them, says Jeff Moritz, Michael's son, who earned an MBA at OSU. Moritz was shocked when he visited his mother's Grandview Heights home in early 2016. An Ohio State report showed that his father's original gift of $30 million, consisting subsequently of sold basically 410,000 shares of Cardinal Health, where his father was a director, has shrunk by $8.4 million over the years to $21.9. Now, Cardinal Health recently has taken on the chin because of the opioid crisis, but they said they were sold back in 2000 when they were subsequently sold back then. So, I mean, I don't know what, if you had all this money in 2001 and you have less money today, after 17 years, that's a big no-go, even though, because you missed 2001, you missed 2001 market decline. Now you got hit pretty hard in 2002. I get that. But since then, even 2008, we're on a tear. So the fact that you have 35% less, that's not good. Morris and his mom then began a series of discussion with Ohio State development officials in which Morris said they attributed the decline to recession's impact on investments. Okay. Recession's impact on investors. It's 2018, man. I mean, if you can't get your investments squared away by now, who the hell are you hiring for an investment manager? How much are the investment managers charging too, by the way? I'd just like to know that. But they did not mention the deduction of fees for the fundraising developments. More back and forth in the receipt of a report on the endowment's financial history finally led to an admission by Ohio State officials that an annual development fee cumulatively totaling about $3 million have been taken from the endowment since inception. So they basically took 10% of the initial proceeds out for annual development. The fees also led to another nearly $3 million investment earnings the endowment would have otherwise earned. So they didn't have the $3 million in there. They essentially lost another $3 million on the potential growth that came with it. The fee stood at 1.33% in 2004, but it's been reduced to 1% since. So, okay, just think about it. You're paying for every $100,000 that you're giving to Ohio State, you're paying $1,000 just to the fees to pay for the salaries of these people raising funds to go out there and talk to wealthy donors. That's not even including the investment management fees, my friends. I bet the investment management fees are 50 to 75 basis points. So all in, your endowment is costing roughly 2%. My father's agreement does not call for the development fund fee. It's restricted. Nowhere is there any mention of a development fee, says Morris. Since 1994, Ohio State has pulled millions of dollars out of endowments, up to 1.3% of all gifts, to woo more donors for more money. In fact, who's that guy? Gordon G. Talk about a snake in the grass, man. If you just read about this guy, Gordon G., I'm almost positive he was a president of Ohio State or whatever it is, the number one guy there for a long time. And the reason they loved this guy was his ability to separate you from your cat. I mean, it's all a scam, man. I tell you, yeah, that guy, Gordon G., just G-E-E, read about this guy. You'll be devastated. You'll sit there saying, why would I ever contribute to these guys again? And I don't know if he's still there or not, no idea. But basically, read about Gordon G., and you'll be just dismayed. What is your college money going to? What's the back? And this ticks me off. The salaries of these huge, fancy schmancy presidents and all the staff that goes with them, the administrators, are based on the back of unsuspecting donors who think their money is going to go to good use. And on top of that, the students who don't know their A from a hole in the ground being sucked into these highfalutin, fast-talking college people to make them take these insane loans that they can't afford to pay back. And then they're going to go lobby. They're going to go lobby the federal government and say, if they go to public service, we're not making money, you should waive the loans after 20 years. Well, that means I'm paying for it. That means the taxpayer, is paying for it. It's wrong on so many levels, and it ticks me off because it's the rich milking the poor. Gordon G. and his thousands of minions out there are getting paid off the back of Grandma Jones, who went to Ohio State University in 1946 and got a teaching degree and has some money left over. She said it'd be great to give it to Ohio State. And here's Gordon G., living large as possible. Just look at him. Read about this guy. It's not just him. It's the guys from the Fiesta Bowl, the college football things, all these guys making money off the backs of grandmas who don't know what they're doing because they've just been solicited and just, it's so great. And yet everyone hates the life insurance guys. And then on top of that, on the backs of the students who go to these schools expecting that the college is the way to the future. And it's just not. It's slavery. You are paying slave wages to pay for these rich guys like Gordon G. And it should tick you off. It ticks me off for sure. I mean, there are organizations that do right by your money. Find those organizations to give to them. And you can go to Charity Navigator. Oh, man, I forgot what it's called. Charity Navigator. I can't remember. I'll put a link. I'll find it. But there's websites you can go to where you can identify what percentage of money actually goes to the recipients as opposed to administrative stuff, which is the salaries. I don't care if some of these guys get paid. But my goodness, don't even get me started. Charity Navigator, I could have sworn that's it. Or anyway, Charity Navigator, I can't remember. But you can find out exactly when you go to these websites what your charitable donation is doing, how much is going to pockets. Red Cross, how much is that lady? I think it's a lady now, CEO. How much is she making? The Boy Scouts of America. Why does it keep doing this? Hold on just a second. It keeps. How much is the guy from the Red Cross and the Boy Scouts making? They're making tons. I think the guy from the Boy Scouts making, I don't know, it's an insane amount of money. All right, so Michael's son found out about it. Okay. Michael's son Jeffrey found out about the fee in 2016, 14 years after he donated more than $30 million. The family learned the endowment had lost nearly 28% of its original value, according to court documents. Instead of funding 30 annual scholarships, they're only given 12 to 16. They're not even getting half what they said they were gonna. The Morrises want the money put into the endowment, which was intended to fund faculty chairs and scholarships. I guarantee the faculty chairs are still getting funded, but it's not the scholarships. The university refused, and now Jeffrey Moritz, an OSU alumnus like his dad, is trying to reopen his father's estate to get more bargaining power to get the money back. Our first thought is that the fund is going down to zero. The legacy of my father and all his work would be gone. Officials argue the development fee is lawful as well as common university practice. Gift contracts didn't need to cite the fee because the documents are designed to address the purpose of the money, says a spokesman of Ohio State University. My friends, higher education is big business, man. Just like college football is big business. And who's getting screwed on that is the college football players and it's the students. There's just no two ways around that. And it's the donors here. And again, Grandma Jones, who just is on the smile and, it feels good about herself donating. And that money is going to make the rich richer. It's just wrong on so many levels. I'm just telling you. So before you start stroking big checks, make sure you understand where it's going. Because, yeah, you can write it off. I get all that. Hey, I can write off. Well, guess what, my friends? If it's estate planning and you're donating to your kids, they can take it without taxes depending on the state you live in, depending on what kind of account they have. I get all that. But you can still give it to charities that can respect your money more. And there are wonderful charities out there doing great work that need your money more than the Gordon G's of the world. So just remember that. Again, if you like what you see here, subscribe down below. Comments are always welcome. I'm sure there's some people in the development world that are ticked off by this. Hey, this is not all encompassing. There are wonderful people that are doing wonderful work from many, many organizations. Absolutely. And I actually thought about going to that line of work at one point too. But then I realized it's all big business. It's a big business. It's not as pure as wind-driven snow what they're trying to say. They got sales quotas. And if you don't meet them, they're going to throw you to the curb. It's crazy. Anyway, so don't forget to subscribe, comments, notes, and don't forget to go to heritagewealthplanning.com, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.